Aloha kako. Hello, everybody. I'm Auntie Kanani from Hula Halau Pilani in Sunnyvale, the island of Sunnyvale. And I'm going to do the opening oli for you. When you enter into a halau, you usually request permission to enter in. And then the kumu, which is me, which means a teacher, gives the approval for you to enter in and continue to learn and go out into the world and share what you have learned. As these students have done today, they have requested a permission by graduating, and the schools that they're going to has, approved them to continue to share, to learn and share what they have learned. Mahalo. Kuni kamaunai kalaiye, oe ale ale, lai wailua, hukia elai kalani kapapa ovai o kawai kini, alaya a elai no no, nalo ka ipuha. Kalaula mau ka o ka pae, mai pae ka leo, he ole ka he mai e, he ai ke kanaka e komo mā loko e hanai aia hewa waha, e ia no ka ukulau ka leo a he leo vale no e komo mai, e komo mai, e komo mai e. Mahalo.
Thank you. Thank you, Kumu Tony Kanani Densing from Hula Halau o Pi'ilani. Welcome, students and guests, to the 15th Annual Rites of Passage Ceremony. Our keynote speaker this afternoon has devoted the past 35 years in the California Community College system. She has held numerous administrative positions in student services and instruction at the City College of San Francisco, the California Community College Chancellor's Office, De Anza College, and now here at Foothill College as our president. Recently, Dr. Miner was appointed by the Board of Trustees to serve as Foothill De Anza Community College District's 7th Chancellor. Dr. Miner has demonstrated her commitment to students in all her roles and is a recognized leader throughout the state and nation. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Judy Miner as a keynote speaker for the 15th Annual CelebrAsian Rites of Passage Ceremony.
What an honor to be here with you today, and I have to start by thanking Debbie Lee, who approached me a year ago today after the last APAN celebration ended and said, will you be our keynote speaker? And I said, of course, it would just thrill me. I want to take the occasion today to tell you a little bit about my own family, and then to offer a little bit of advice for our graduates as they go forward. I think, you just can't resist that temptation when you're at a commencement celebration. So I am of mixed parentage. My mother was born in Guadalajara, Mexico. Her mother was Mexican. Her father was Irish. And she came to this country actually as a child laborer. Her earliest memories were picking lettuce in some valley in the south. Eventually moved to the Bay Area. And she met my father through her cousin because they both worked at the Mare Island Naval Shipyard. My dad was born on the island of Guam. His father was a German merchant seaman, and he didn't really see anything of him as he was growing up. His mother was Chamorro, the native people of Guam, and I think she was probably the most influential person in his life. But when he was only 12 years old, he came stateside with a naval family, worked in their household, and then eventually began to be a boiler maker on the various ships at the Mare Island Naval Shipyard and the San Francisco Naval Shipyard. My mother only finished 11th grade, my father 5th. And as I was thinking about what to share with all of you, I kept going back to who my father was, because he has just continued to be an incredible influence in my life, even though both he and my mother passed away more than 20 years ago now. And when I think about how he dedicated himself to his work as a boilermaker, It was tough work. He developed asbestosis because in those days they didn't shield the workers from that kind of exposure. But he was so uncomplaining about that. He raised 5 children in San Francisco as a single wage earner so that my mom could remain home with us and take care of us full time. We never took vacations because he felt it was more important to save money in order to send us all to Catholic school so that we'd grow up right. And so he did that for all of us. And his main hope for all of us was that we would graduate from high school, since neither he nor my mom did. He really was a devoted father, took care of us. He was also devoted to our local parish church in San Francisco, helping the nuns out, helping the priests out, doing all kinds of odd jobs. He was just so handy at everything. And he was just so beloved. And he died on Christmas Eve in 1992. And it really struck people that night. And there were grown men crying at the passage of my father. And so when we had the overflowing funeral mass to celebrate his life, as I was thinking about the eulogy that night, I really concluded my dad was just a genuinely nice person. I tried to think of when he had ever said a bad word about anybody or had gossiped or had complained, and none of us in the family, all 5 children, talked about that, and we couldn't think of it. And so I thought, what a life model for me, and I hope that I can bring that to the work that I do and share some of the reflections about him with you today, about what I think can help us in our life's travels and what I think is our responsibility as educated individuals. So I want to leave our students today in particular with 3 pieces of advice. The first, I would say as this: all thoughts need not be expressed. I think you will hear a number of my generation talking about the decline of civility, that, you know, the reality TV shows are all about dissing each other and saying whatever is on your mind no matter what. It's just sort of to relieve yourself. And I think we've all thought on occasion, you know, oh my gosh, I wish I had not said that, or I wish I had not sent that email, or in social media, oh my gosh, did I really post that on Facebook? And so I just would like to advise you to think about what you might say or what you might write or what you might post, to never do it in anger, and to certainly consider that there might be some long-term effects both for you and for the recipient of those comments, and that sometimes it's okay to remain silent. A related bit of advice I'd like to offer is that a kind word costs nothing but is priceless. And I am so much in mind of that given the fantastic end-of-year celebrations that I have been attending, and watching the kind words that have been expressed on behalf of our retirees, on behalf of our faculty and staff, as students talk about the life-transforming experiences that they have had thanks to being in the classrooms and in the offices and in the programs of all my wonderful colleagues at Foothill. And kindness is so uplifting to both the receiver and the giver. Obviously, the person who is receiving a kind word will appreciate it, but you as the giver will feel pretty good about it too. It's just amazing how that works, and the ripple effect that can go on, that if just by saying hello to somebody or complimenting somebody on something that they've done, and particularly taking heed of the persons who often are invisible around us. We have some amazing gardeners on the campus who have cultivated these gorgeous roses and beautiful settings to make this campus even more beautiful than when they came to the college. And a thank you to them would be so appreciated because they're in the background, or our custodians for keeping everything so clean, or the person who just helps give you directions when they might just be hurrying off to their own meeting. But they take that minute because it won't be the end of the world if they actually take 5 seconds to tell you. And I'm a believer in karma, that what you put out in the world will come back to you. And I think the most wonderful people I know are the ones who are so giving and who are so other-centered. And the third little bit of advice that I'd like to offer is that with education comes privilege and responsibility. So you do leave us as privileged individuals having the opportunity to get a degree or to transfer and to be a part of the educated community. And I would hope that you would be quite generous in your expressions of appreciation and gratitude to your family. And in fact, I'd like us to applaud all of the families and friends who are here today who have supported all of you. Also your larger community, because none of us get anywhere or can succeed based on our own merits. And I think American society is so often around the cult of the individual and not about society or the family or the larger community. And I think it's so wonderful that these rites of passage do celebrate that we are a community and that we all care about you and that we hope that you care about us as well. And so that Foothill College would be a part of your sense of responsibility as well, to come back and help the next generation of students who will be with us, and to always remember that we care deeply about you and that we want you to succeed in whatever you do. And I'd like to close with a quotation of Lao Tzu, because I think this would be a good way for you to go out into the world, and that is, being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage. May you go forward with a life full of strength and courage. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Miner, for your words of inspiration and your leadership in the district. I would like to introduce Surisha Pingali, who works for the district accounting office, and she'll be singing a shloka in Sanskrit for us today.
Okay, where I start?
Lakshmi Kant Hello, I am Naomi Kitajima from the Health Services, and I do want to tell you that your staff and faculty have made these katas, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the symbolism of the kata. The kata is a blessing or an offering scarf, a very auspicious symbol. The kata is similar to a bouquet. In fact, you can look at this. It almost looks like a lei this year. It looks very different than past years. And this is given away many times. And one specific kata may travel the world over. The offering of a scarf may seem like a simple gesture, but it's a very special blessing, a talisman, and a protector. To present a kata, you first fold it in half lengthwise. This represents the interdependence we have on each other. The open edges facing the person you are giving it to. And this represents your open or pure heart with no negative feelings or thoughts or motives in the offering. When given as a farewell, as we will be doing for our graduates, the kata symbolizes the wish for a safe journey and a safe return. It is a sign of recognition of one's love and respect for one another. May this kata bless you on your journey through life. We will now start our ceremony, and this will be your rites of passage where you will receive a kata. You will also have the opportunity to speak and say your words. So if the graduates would please line up where Victoria Takeda is, I would appreciate all the graduates lining up over here.
Okay, I think they're trying to find their pairing up over there. So, Newton, I apologize because this is my level. Okay. All right.
No worries. No worries.
I don't know if any of you know what we're handing the students, but they're receiving this certificate, and perhaps they'll share this with you during the reception. 4 days in a row. I want to thank you for inviting me. I'm an Article 19 retired counselor. Oh, they're rescinding my retirement of about 2.5 years. It says here, the staff and faculty and administrators of the Asian Pacific American Network recognizes the struggle, achievements, and accomplishments of Newton He, while a student at Foothill College who has exhibited in a heroic way the courage, dedication, and hard work can make dreams come true. You have touched the lives of others on the Foothill campus, and we salute you June 26, 2015. And so this is what we offer each student. So Newton, I'm going to present you with this certificate. This is Newton. I met him about 3 years ago, and I want to say that he is a consummate student. How do I want to say this? He's extremely active in student government. He's always there ready to help. In fact, every year he comes to me and says, Ms. Takeda, what can I do to help and get API Heritage Month going? Even though I'm retired, he comes over and visits me. So Newton here is transferring to Notre Dame de Namur down the street. His major is sociology, which makes sense to me. I think he's going to be there as I age. He's going to help me in some field because that's who he is. And Newton, I just hope and wish the best for you. And I would like to present you with this kata.
Thank you. Oh, sorry.
I want to thank everyone here to support me this year at APAN. And this has been a really long year for me. I remembered when I first came to API was in 2012. I started out working with a Japan project. I started out working with multiple students. And when I first came to Foothill, I started out as a member of API. And during those years, I started working with multiple students, the deans, the staffs, including student leaders right over there. This is the first time I've received this, and hopefully I can share this to everyone throughout my whole years at Foothill. Thank you.
So I'm pleased to present Josh Wheely. I actually worked with him in Math 235. He always came to class prepared, and he was a really hard worker. So now he's earning his AA in communications. Congratulations.
First of all, I would like to thank God for blessing me today. Second of all, I would like to say thank you for both of my favorite math teachers here, Ms. Fong and Sarah. If it wasn't for the extra credits they gave me, I wouldn't be standing here right now. Yeah, after watching this performance, it just makes me more proud of being a Pacific Islander. And I would like to thank you, Antoinette and Marco. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have known anything about Foothill College. They showed me everything I needed to know, and now I'm graduating, and thank you. And Mom, I did it! Do I go back over there?
Hi, I'd like to present Oniza Kazi. She'll be transferring to UC Davis and majoring in physics. Awesome. I had Oniza in my pre-calculus class about 2 or 3 years ago. I can't remember. 3 years. And then you were in my 1A class, and then 1C, and then 1D. And then I stopped teaching and you went on. But the great thing about Oniza is I loved having her as a student in my class because she's so bubbly. She just gets everybody together. They work together and learn math together. When I first had Oniza 3 years ago, that was a 10 a.m. class. And she came to class. And then I started teaching 8 a.m. classes. And she's like, no, I can't do 8 a.m. classes. But what happened, 1C was 8 a.m. and she was there. 1D was probably 8 a.m. too. And she was there, and she's on her way. She has grown and matured so much that I'm really proud of her.
So I just wanted to thank everyone because I actually dropped out of high school and I came to Foothill, and it's been amazing. Sorry. Yeah, and all the teachers are amazing, and the students are like so helpful and great, and it's been amazing. So thank you. Thank you. Again, thanks.
I'd like to present Glenn Lee. He took vector calculus and differential equations with me. And in addition to his excellence in mathematics and also academic maturity, he's really appreciative. And his good, positive attitude tells everything. He always smiles at people around him, and he's very respected by other students. And also, he has a, why you are not smiling? You always smile. Look at him. Look at his smile. His smile really, brights up. And he's gonna study materials engineering in Cal Poly. And he got honored actually the best student of the year last year. So that tells actually us he's a really sincere student. And I bet you will have a bright future in your life because of your positive attitude and also thankfulness you have from your heart for almost everything. So congratulations, Glenn.
So there's a lot of people today that I would like to thank, but thank you for putting on this event. This is something that I only found out this year, but I think this is a wonderful event. There's someone right there who I still would like to thank, William Walker, and also like to thank, he's been a big part of making changes in the PSME division this year, and also Park Lee for teaching me math for 2 quarters and putting on the events like Let's Play Math for children in the community to come and take part in some puzzles and learning math and having a good time about enjoying mathematics and science. But on top of that, someone who's not here, Dr. Armstrong, who's someone I've taken organic chemistry with this is, the whole series this year. She's really been a part of putting up the student organization that we assembled this year, which is the Chemistry Facts Club. And we've been a huge success because it was our first quarter and our first time setting up a new club here. And I'm glad to tell you that we got 2nd place for Club of the Year. But also we have a lot more room for improvement for next year, and we have great students and great faculty to carry on the legacy. So thank you, everyone.
I would like to present Obid Poroko, who will be transferring to UCI as a business economics major. We're very proud of him, and we wish him very good luck and safe travel. Congratulations. I will try to put this over you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I would like to acknowledge that everything that I have done here is impossible without the support of my family, who are on the other side of the world, and my instructors that I've seen sitting on the audience, and definitely my friends. But as you can see, I don't speak much in public because I'm quite nervous around a lot of people. But I have 2 words that I have to say, and it's genuine from my heart, and it's thank you.
Hello, I'm very happy to introduce Yang Lin. She will be transferring to Car Poly, Panama, in hospitality management. Congratulations. Would you like to say something? No? Okay, let's go.
Hello, I'm Kathy Denver, and I'm an international student counselor here at Foothill and an honorary API member. And it's my pleasure to introduce Gaku Uchino. And he's been a student of mine for the last 2 years, and we've worked together quite a bit. I'm happy to say that he's transferring to UCLA for global studies and linguistics. And it's just been a real pleasure to work with you between lots of email communication, lots of appointments. It's been a real pleasure. I'm going to miss his smiling face. So I want to present Gaku Uchino.
Hello everyone. I just would like to appreciate every help I got at Foothill College, and I especially want to say special thanks to Kathy Denver, counselor here. She really helped me a lot. And one more person who is not here, Katie Hart. She's my boss at TLC. She's such a nice person. She also helped me a lot, especially for application, for my essays. Anyway, instructors here at Foothill College are amazing. I really appreciate everything here I got at Foothill College. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tilly Wu, EOPS counselor, and I have the privilege of introducing to you Michelle Chang, who I had the privilege to work with for the past 3 years. And she's someone who's always coming into my office at least 2 to 3 times a quarter with very precise questions and want precise answers. And with that, I know that she will persevere on, and someday she wants to be aspired to be a doctor in psychology, and I know she will definitely achieve that goal. Michelle has intentions of, well, she is transferring to Chapman University, majoring in psychology, and I am truly proud of you. Congratulations, Michelle.
To go with her, she said, well, I'm going to be a doctor. I am not going to be a doctor. Period. No. And that's what you think. Not happening. I am doing something else, different. Business-ish. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe political science? Maybe. We'll see. But other than that, I love you. Always, always, always. And now you have my brother to take care of. Yay! Okay, I'm done.
Hi, my name is Lily Liu, and I'm with ELPS department. I'm doing the care coordinator, so I'm very glad that I have opportunity to introduce my care ELPS student here. Her name is Alisa Lukmo. She's going to be receiving AS degree, General Study, and a social science. She's going to transfer to CSU East Bay in major allied health science, right? Congratulations.
Thank you. I'd like to thank both my EOPS counselors, Tilly and Lily. Thank you. I'd like to introduce Michael Elias, and Michael will be transferring to UC San Diego, and his major is economics. I had him in Math 1D. He's a very persistent student and awesome. Comes to me during office hours whenever he has questions, and he plans to become a financial advisor. So if you're looking into where to invest your money, I totally trust Michael. All right, so congratulations, Michael.
Okay, so I didn't exactly prepare anything, but the 3 years I had over here was a really good experience. And I would like to thank the professors over here, which made the classes really enjoyable and fun. And the things that I learned over here, I'll take with me till in the future. So I'd like to thank Professor Lee and Professor Evans and all the other professors that I took classes with. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Victor Tama, the Dean of Physical Sciences, Mathematics, and Engineering, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce Chuang Chao, who will be transferring to the University of California, Santa Barbara. I never had the pleasure of teaching him, but he did take 3 math classes in the calculus series in our division, and physics for fun. But apparently we weren't able to attract him to the math and sciences. He'll be transferring to UC Santa Barbara in economics this fall. So congratulations.
Thank you all. I think I really learned a lot in Foothill College. Thanks my teachers, including Laurie Silverman, and Brian here today. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Julie Brown, and I work, sorry, am I loud? And I work in the DRC department, which is the Disability Resource Center. And I am presenting Frangelica Garcia, but I feel like it would be appropriate if I present her like this. Introducing Frangelica Garcia. Her major is psychology, and she will be receiving an AA through Foothill College, and then will be transferring to UC Davis. And our department have the privilege to hire her as a student staff worker, and she's been a blessing for our department because every student that she interacts with, they leave happy with a big smile on their face. So I know she's doing her job, and we wish her the best, and God bless you on your educational journey.
I've had a wonderful time here at Foothill. It's been a great 3 years. I'd really like to thank the DRC. I was like always there like every quarter being like, oh my God, something's going wrong. So I'd really like to thank Margot Dubbins and Julie Brown, because they're the people who always dealt with me being like freaking out every quarter being like, but I'd really just like to thank everyone who works there. It's a great place. Thank you.
Okay, Julie. I guess I have to do it now. Introducing Min Lei. Min is transferring to San Jose State University and majoring in applied math. And I had her in Calculus 1, and pretty soon after that she joined the Pass the Torch program and has been tutoring there, tutoring math, for the past 5 consecutive quarters, and has helped many of her peers succeed. So thank you for all the work that you do with Pass the Torch.
Thank you.
And best wishes to you at San Jose State University.
Thanks.
And this is for you. Did you want to say anything?
Okay. So I would like to thank you to Katie Denver. She was my counselor to help me through with all the transferable credit as well as the paperwork. As well, I want to thank you, Miss Antoinette Chavez, because she's the first one to help me get involved with Foothill College. And lastly, I would like to thank you all the teachers and faculty that helped me through my journey at Foothill College. Thank you.
Let's see. Julie, where are you? Introducing... Oh, damn. I don't think I have it. All right. Introducing Thuy Tien Nguyen.
Yay! Woo!
Got it. She is majoring in biochemistry and transferring to San Jose State University. And if you guys are so sick of seeing me, it's because I've had all of these students, and they're just wonderful students. And yes, you are a very wonderful student. I love having her. She's like the life of the class. She really is. If you have life of a party, my class became a party, because that was her. But she's not just the life of a party. It's not just about that. She's also a hard worker and really gets people to get working together. So I'm kind of sad that she's leaving, but I'm very proud that she's transferring. And good luck with pharmacy school.
Thank you.
And I told her she could say anything she wants now.
Sorry about this would be good afternoon. So this is actually my 4th year in Foothill, and every time I say it, people say, "What? That's long?" And I was like, "You're supposed to get out here already. Why is so long?" And I was like, "I love Foothill so much. I probably, if I don't have the transfer, I probably want to stay another year." In 4 years at Foothill, I encountered many wonderful professors, and many of them give me so much tear and suffer, and I don't know how to describe it, a lot of challenge. But in the end, I worked so hard, so I mastered the subject just as math class with Professor Ed.D. Oh my God, I almost cried after the final. I'm not so sure I'm gonna pass the class, and I was like, "Oh, do I have to take it again?" So, but it's helped me to grow up as a more mature person, but sometimes I'm not mature enough, but still trying. So, I really thank the counseling office and many other professors. I mean, I love all of them, especially Professor Young Hee Park Lee over there. She just had a final 2 days ago, and I was like, oh my God. And especially the counseling office always try to keep me in track of transferring. Say, you're supposed to transfer. what class are you going to take now? You have more than enough. Okay, I'll transfer. So this year I did it. Hooray! Again, thank you. I'll miss you.
Good afternoon once again. I have the honor to introduce to you Nazan Palat, who I've had the privilege of working with for the past 3 years in our EOPS department. She actually came to the United States not that long ago, so she had the opportunity at Foothill College to progress and improve her English skills. And now she will be transferring to UC Santa Cruz, majoring in community studies. And I just wanted to share with you that Nazan is definitely a very hardworking student. She actually takes the bus to Foothill College, and it takes her 3 hours every day. And I tell you, that journey is really hard, but she never gave up. And here she stands. She was actually a runner-up for the Carl Pitster Scholarship, $20,000 scholarship. Unfortunately, she wasn't the selected student, but that's just a testament of the hard work and perseverance that she puts in to be where she's at. And I know that her wings, she would spread and fly, and she will have an amazing future. I will dearly miss you, Nazan.
Just I want to say that the first time I came here, it was really kind of hard decision for me to came here. I came here with lottery, so it was hard to leave my family, my friends, and because like right now I live with my uncle's family, and all of my families and friends are in Turkey right now. So just I want to say that when I came here, I was just planning to learn English, and the first time I came here, I wasn't able to speak and understand anything, so it totally knows me. So right now I'm here, and it was kind of a dream for me because I wasn't planning to transfer to university, but right now yeah, I'm here, and I'm transferring to UC Santa Cruz, so I'm glad to be here. Thank you. Thank you who support me. Thanks so much.
So I would like to introduce to you Trung Nim, who is not receiving 1, but 3 degrees from Foothill College. He'll be receiving an associate in science and electrical engineering, and additionally in math and physics. So it's very honorable. So his journey started about 3 years ago, and my journey here was about that time. I was parking in parking lot 8. And this guy walks up to me. He's like, yeah, you know, you probably want to move your car. You can only be there for an hour. And yeah, he was one of our parking safety officers. I was like, all righty. He doesn't know who William Walker is. But, and then, you know, time went by. I'd see him around campus, made sure I was following parking regulations. And I was given this assignment to work in the PSME division to help start an early alert program, helping with students that were falling behind. And being a graduate of a community college, I know that what was most helpful for me was to find students to help other students so they could empower themselves to succeed. And when I ran into Trung over on the PSME side of campus, I was like, well, what are you up to? Are you still, you know, checking cars? And he's like, no, I'm focused on my studies. And I was like, well, you're already in the hiring system. Why don't we just figure out a way to help you help other students succeed? And he is very integral in a program called SP Squared. It's a program where students came together in the PSME Center, which is now the STEM Center, and they helped with offering students help, whether it was getting them to meet with a tutor or helping them find a counselor or what have you. So I thank Trung and I thank the other students who are all in the room that were helping out with that program, and wish you the best at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, which is a great school for engineering, I hear. So congratulations.
All right, thank you, Will. Thank you so much.
figure out your kata. All right, there you go.
Thank you, Will. Okay, I didn't prepare for this, so forgive me if I say anything inappropriate. All right. Anyway, I started my journey 3 years ago, like Will said. He pretty much like nailed it. I came here to the States like not knowing like what to do. I didn't expect much. I remember like my first year, I wasn't very sure of what to do and what was I doing with my life at that point of time. But right now, looking back, I think I've grown a lot. And my expectation of Foothill changed a lot. I mean, I didn't believe I would grow to love this place that much. I mean, I'm not a social person, but I think I know like a bunch of staffs around here. I know Professor Parkley, Katie Denver, and William here. So that's pretty much sum up my social life. All right.
It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, well, I really love this place. I love the faculties. They're amazing. Yeah, I would like to thank you all for the time so far. And I wish you the best in the future. Thank you all.
And now I want to present our APAN Scholarship winner this year. Okay, the APAN Scholarship was created for a student who really put forth a lot of work and effort into bringing about learning about our culture and heritage at this school. And this award this year goes to Choi Hao Leong. And now that he's up here, I want to say a couple words about him because I had him as a student too. You would think I'm monopolizing this event. But these are all fantastic students that we have. And I know Choi in 2 capacities. One as a student, I had him for my pre-calculus class and calculus. And second, as a student representative on this campus. And what really, really surprised me is just how much Choi really advocates for the students. He works really hard bringing forth the issues of students and takes that seriously. So I want to really thank him for bringing forth that to Foothill because it's not easy being an advocate. And, you know, when you're young and you're developing your ideas, sometimes you're not sure and you're not very confident yet. And so I just want to say thank you to Choi for bringing this about. Congratulations.
Thank you. So I wasn't expecting to speak, but yeah. So I would like to thank for awarding me with the APAN scholarships, and also like to thank my CAP family, Antoinette Chavez, and my whole entire CAP friends, my CAP family over there. Because of CAP, I knew that I can involve and like be more connected to the community, and then a way to like contribute back to the community. So I really appreciate that, and thanks to all the faculty and staff like Denise, Judy Minor here, and they're really helpful and they gave a lot of support and help, and I really appreciate that. Thank you.
So if you've noticed, we have 2 special recognitions, and we've had these recognitions framed up here. Victor and Victoria. That's funny how that just kind of ended up like that. Come on up.
They get an extra thing, a Broadway.
Yeah, right. So we would like to recognize 2 individuals here with us today with these plaques to recognize their service to the event today and for their dedication to our celebration. So, Kumu, we have a plaque prepared for you, and it says, Tony Kanani Densing for participating in our 15th annual Rites of Passage ceremony. Your opening and closing only helped to create a memorable afternoon for all, and we salute you. Oh, if you'd like.
No.
No? Okay. And we have one for Dr. Judy Minor. And it reads, Judy Minor, EDD, for your keynote speech at our 15th annual Rites of Passage ceremony. Thank you for being a champion of community college issues and supporting success of students at Foothill College. Thank you, Victor and Victoria. All right. I'd like to take a moment to recognize Dr. Linda Thor, our chancellor, who's in the rear of the room. Chancellor Thor will be retiring at the end of the month, so congratulations on your retirement. I'd also like to recognize Board President Pearl Chang, who's also present with us. Thank you for joining us. And some final notes. This celebration, if you haven't noticed, is being recorded and will be available on the Foothill College YouTube channel. So take a look out for that. It will be on our homepage. We will also have a reception immediately following the celebration. So if you've noticed that there is food at the rear of the room, so please join us in celebrating our students. And finally, the students themselves, if you can just come up to the front of the stage so we can take a photo of you. A group photo, yes, group photo. Again, so we can document your accomplishments. So with that said, I'd like to invite Kumu once again for a closing Oli.
Wow, wasn't that just awesome? All these graduates, I mean, all the stories are so, they make me cry, actually. I don't even know you. And I was sitting here, I was like, oh my gosh, my daughters were like, why are you crying? I'm like, I don't know. But mahalo also for the nice awards too. It's just wonderful being here every year, so mahalo. And have fun, everybody. Now you're on your journey, enjoy life. Mahalo. Mai ka ko mahelea oi kaualoha I manao. Hea ya ka ko I loko ko pu'uwai I ke ka mano hawa I mao kauahaili. Po e ka ko o Hawaii me Kaleponi. Mai ka ko mahele. Mai ka ko I ha'a. Mai ka ko I noa mauloa. Aloha e, aloha mai. Ano ai ke aloha e. Mahalo.